Hey everyone, welcome. If you've been to the channel before, thank you so much for coming back. I truly appreciate it. You know, I do this for you guys, so really happy. If you haven't been here before, I just need to know why. Like, is it me? Is it my content? What is it? Well, this is probably what got you here today because I have not done a lift on my Can-Am Commander. And this is going to be the first video of doing a lift on any UTV of any sort, so I'm pretty pumped. Pretty sure this is going to go well. Like most stuff goes on this channel well. Actually, if you follow the channel, you know I have probably 80% success rate. Might be a little high, but we do have a pretty good success rate on this channel for trying to accomplish the task that we're doing. I can't see this going bad. I mean, it's taking some bolts out, putting some brackets in. I really don't see how this could go bad. No, I can see how this can go bad. There's always something that can happen, so something's gonna break or whatever, but I think we're good. So, why don't we get started? Gonna get this thing jacked up. I think we're gonna start with the back, maybe pull the wheels off. I think I gotta pull the wheels off for this. I'm gonna look at the instructions just quickly. So, why don't I show you guys the instructions, pull those out, and then we're gonna get started. Alright, so here's the kit that we got. So you guys have seen this. I just opened it up. Pretty simple stuff. We have these cool little brackets right here. These are for the rear, I believe it is. We'll find that out. And then we have a bunch of these brackets right here. These, I believe, are for the front, if I'm not mistaken. Like I said, we'll check that out. Pretty simple instruction sheet. Actually, I like the instruction sheet. Some of the comments that I saw online for some of the kits, they were complaining about the instruction sheets and how they were not comprehensive. These seem to be pretty good. So we got some nice pictures here. Jack the front. Take the tires off as well. Disconnect the bottom of the shocks, and there's our installation pieces. Those are all the items that come with it, and nothing there. So I know this channel I don't really use instruction sheets, but this time I might just use them because, you know, it's important. So here we go. We got our bolts, got our box of stuff. So why don't we start by raising the rear of the vehicle, and let's start with the back. Okay, so to give us some sort of sense on what we're trying to accomplish here, let's take a pre-measurement. So I'm just going to mark from this bolt here to the center of the wheel. So currently we have a height of, to the top of the fender here, we got 35 inches right on the button. So 35 inches is going to be our mark. I'm going to write that down. Now I don't believe it's going to, well, I might raise this measurement here. So if we go from the bolt, let's say go center of the bolt here. Let's see, center of the bolt to the top of the tire, we have 7 3/4 inches. So we have 7 3/4 inches here and 35 inches from this bolt down. So now we have a good benchmark on what the current height or size is. So why don't we jack the back of this thing up and let's get started. Okay, so we got her jacked up. So first order of business is to remove this bolt right here for the shock. So there's a bolt on this side and on the other side. Those are 15 mil. And then the second order of business is to raise the dump box, and we're going to be removing the bump stops for the box up on top there. So I got my 15 mil open end here, and I got my socket down here, and my ratchet. I'm ready to go. So let's get that bolt off and see what happens. A swivel is probably a really bad idea for this, but let's see what happens. Yeah, that was a bad idea. Probably easier if I hold it from this side and try to remove. Ah, there we go. Okay, so that got the bolt out. And no, I was wrong. There's no pressure that way. The pressure is downwards. So okay, so we got that off. Let's get this guy off right here. All right, our bump stop is off. All right, so we got that all disconnected. As you can see here, the shock is nice and loose. So this bracket is intended to go like so. I'm going to slide over top of that. Oh, like that. And then, so we have a bolt hole here that our bolt's going to go through. Tighten that down. And then our shock's going to go through the bottom one right here. And our bump stop's going to go back on top. So that is, you can see that's going to lower the shock down here, push, and then push the angle of the suspension up. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean this up really good. And I'm going to put some grease on there so I don't get rust. Let's clean that up. Alright, you guys can see I got this all greased up. So these are pretty simple. It comes with some really nice hardware. So it's got some washers here. So I just moved the shock out of the way. I pulled it a little forward this way. That is just so that I can slide this on easily. And on each side of here, you'll notice that the main bracket has an indent in it, and these washers are intended to take up that slack. So we're going to get that in there. Oh, come on. Found it. Okay, we're good. Just gonna move the shock right out of the way. There we go. Now we got lots of room. Right, I'm kind of confused why that's not going in properly, and while it's going in, it just doesn't go in from that side. All right, so we got our washers in. Like so. Now just try and get that through there. All right, we got that in. Now let's get our nut on the other side. And we got a nice, looks like nylock nuts. So the instructions say don't tighten everything down yet, unless you're told. So we're not going to do that yet. All right, so next we're told to secure the bracket with the bed stop, which we're going to do like that. And we're going to come back and readjust these when we're all done. Because I imagine these are going to have to come down. This nut on the bed stop is rusted on there. I'm going to have to soak that down with some penetrating fluid. You know, I tell myself things like this, stupidity, like a seized nut. This is what ties me up on the channel all the time, and this is what causes me issues, but I didn't damage it. I was scared to put it in a vise because I didn't want to detach the rubber from the metal, but ended up having to. And the reason why I had to get this loosened up was because this is the bump stop for the rear deck, or the rear dump gate or dump box. And I'm going to have to not raise it up, but I'm going to have to lower this because now I've increased the height of the bracket this is going to go into. So got that loose. Let's go get this thing put on. Like, come on, man. Jeez, always an issue. Problems. All right, here we go. So we got that bump stop loosened up. So we're going to bring that nut right to the top of it. Like so. And there was a lock washer there that we're going to use. So we're going to pass that through the hole there. And then we had a double nut on the bottom. So what we're going to do is... Oh my God. All right, found the nut. So we're going to tighten this to seat the bracket correctly or properly. And once that is tight, then we're going to tighten this one right here. I don't know if you guys can see where I'm at now. I'm at this point here where I'm just trying to get the shock into the bolt here, but if you notice I have that 1.5 inch a half, I guess, is what it is, to get the shock absorber down. So I have spring compressors, but because this channel is about using what we have and what you guys might have in your garage, I'm going to try a ratchet strap, because who doesn't have ratchet straps? Like, those are the best tools in the face of the planet. So let's see if we can compress the spring a little bit with a ratchet strap.
Denied.
Ow. Hey, well, you guys ain't gonna believe these shenanigans. So after fighting with the other side a little bit, I realized that if you leave it like super loose, like really, really loose, like, I mean, just finger tight, you should be able to pull this forward, lift up on that bracket, like so. Slide that in, put the washer in there like so, slide the other one in, and make that really easy, like that, and put that on there like so. I mean, and now I'm just gonna like take a bar and like kind of maybe push that down a little bit, but yeah, that was pretty easy. Yeah. All right, now let's see if I can just get that down. I think I have an idea, just a pair of ice grips, how to do it. Hey, so yeah, just a pair of ice grips there. I think I'll get this started if I'm not mistaken. We'll find out in a second here. If I just move the vice grips over here, let's try this. Maybe that touch over here, maybe. Help me out here a little bit. Jeez, like, what is going on? Oh, okay. All right, well, that works. So I was able to thread that in there. And once I get the bump stop seated, I'll probably remove these, and now I can put, I forgot the lock washer again. Oh, give me the strength to carry on. I'm just going to use this 13 mil nut just to seat that and hold the bracket down. And then I'm going to tighten the two shock bolts, or the shock bolt and the bracket. It's Easter weekend, and it's Easter Friday, or Good Friday for us. So we are off work today. I suspect a lot of people are off work today, Good Friday. So happy Easter, everybody. I hope the Easter Bunny brings you lots of goodies. Okay, that's nice and tight. Now we're going to get these bolts tightened up. All right, so we got it back on the ground. I'm very pleased. It's definitely sitting higher than what it was. I'm not going to take any measurements just quite yet. I'm going to wait till the front is done. But I got everything adjusted. I got the wheels back on and torqued, and lubed up a couple things like the hinges for the box and the latches and stuff like that. So so far, I'm pleased with the way it looks. I had no issues, but I did find out I need brake pads. So at least I had it apart to check that. So I'll order up some brake pads. That'll be another video. So now we're going to get on the front over here. I don't expect any big issues in the front. I think it's going to go fairly well. So let's get this thing jacked up and get those wheels off. All right, wonderful. So I'm going to need brake pads in the front as well. Yeah. All right, so here's what we're up against. We have the lower shock bolts are right here, nut on the other side, and we have this little pilot hole right here. You guys see this hole? So this is going to go in there, but to do that, we're going to have to ream this hole out. have lots of room here. This is going to go really well, like so. And then we're going to... Why did you just turn around on me? Hi. I don't know why the camera turned around, but it decided gimbal life, we're going to turn around. So, okay, let's put this through here. So I'm going to follow the instructions. I know it's not something I do often, but today we're going to do that because I had no luck with the way I was doing it. So the instructions say to, so I've already got grease in there. Instructions say to put the shock bolt in first. So we're going to do this like this. Pass that through. Put our washer on the other side. And our bracket. And then our nut. Can you guys see that? Yeah, you can see that. Alright, so I'm not going to tighten that all the way. Okay. Alright, well, I tightened it too tight. There we go. Give ourselves a little bit of play there. So now that that's in, it says to pass this bolt through. So that one's through. Now we're going to try and get our 1/4 inch bolt through there. Wherever that went. So now that's going to have to go up a hair. So, see if we can get this in there. Alright, you can see, so now I've got this bolt in, I've got the bracket bolt in, and now I'm just trying to get this guy in here. And it's a little difficult to maneuver it in there, so I'm going to go get, which looks like a 10mm socket right there. Try and get it through the other side. So all I did is I just grabbed this little pry bar here, and I'm just maneuvering those brackets if I can. Okay, well, that was fairly easy. Okay, so we got all our bolts in as per the instructions, and that was fairly simple. Now we're going to get our lock nuts on. And I'm going to do the shock bolt. Then I'll finish off with the 10mm one here, which we're not going to super tighten because this is doesn't appear to be a very strong bolt. Alright, as you guys can see, I think we're all done on this side. So we have our bolts going in there. We have our small 1/4 inch bolt right here. And you can see where the shock used to be down below, but now it's up here because these brackets actually lifted the shock that 1.5 inches. In turn, we'll lift the suspension, I'm thinking. We didn't super tighten them because these are nylock nuts. They have nylon inside, so they're self-locking. They shouldn't back out, but we will check them every so often. The shock, I greased this bolt right here. So I think we're ready to get this side back together and tackle the other side. And like I did with the other one, I'm not going to bore you with the details of the other side because I just did this side. So I'm anxious to go get the other side done. We'll get that banged off in a couple minutes, and then we're going to be back, put this thing on the ground and do some measurements. Okay, it's back on the ground. It's definitely looking higher than what it was before, so the only true way to tell is by taking some measurements. I was thirsty. Take some measurements. All right, skill testing question for you guys. Do you remember what the measurements were? I do. So we had 35 from the bolt down to the ground. So now we have 36 and a half, and I believe we were at 35 prior to that. So that's actually an inch and a half, believe it or not. And then from the top of the tire to this bolt here, we had, what was it, 7 3/4? And now we have 9 1/4. So she's definitely higher than what it was. I noticed it even just jumping into the machine. So I think this is going to give us the ground clearance that we actually wanted. It looks like we gained some clearance here and then we gained some clearance at the bottom. So it pushed the whole body up, which should give us more clearance underneath. So I am super pumped, and this was a super easy kit to install. I mean, just look at this. Look how beautiful it is. Sitting nice and high. You can definitely tell that it's higher than it was. The only true test is going to be taking it for a ride to see how it changed the handling characteristics. How it changed the handling characteristics, because it is much higher. So now I notice that it's higher, that the angle of my tires now are straight where they used to be cambered out a little bit. And now they appear to be straight. So I have aired up the tires. I made sure I have 12 pounds in every single tire. That's where I like to run them. So we're gonna go for a ride. I'm gonna test it out, and I'll let you guys know in a couple minutes. Gonna go for a ride. Yeah. I haven't been for a ride in a long time, actually. I wonder if the dog's gonna like the side-by-side. Probably not, he's a chicken. Well, I go into the house for supper.
Hi Ash. Hi Ash, are you a good boy? Are you a good boy?
Go in the house for supper, and then we get like this snowstorm. And yeah, a little freak blizzard. So now we got to wipe it off. Well, it definitely feels higher getting in, that's for sure. We'll just see how it operates. So far so good. Feels higher. Wow, that's all I can say. What a big difference just in the clearance, actually even in the way it handles. I really do like the way it handles with that lift on it. I don't notice it being a lot more tippy. One thing I did notice that it seemed to take away some of that driveline slack, you know, that Can-Am clunk you have. It seemed to take that away for some reason, maybe because it's increasing the angle and it's putting a little bit more angle on the driveline. I'm really not sure, but I'm super pumped. Really happy that this worked out. No issues, and I'm telling you that extra bit of clearance makes the world of difference. Just going through this snow, I couldn't get through that just a couple days ago because it would drag the bottom. But here we go. Here we are, from a snowstorm to beautiful sun. And I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I enjoyed making this video for you, and I'm really happy, like I said, that this turned out well. So if you like what you see and you want to see more Can-Am videos, I probably have a few more coming up. It's going to need some maintenance before the spring comes. So thanks again, guys. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that little like button there, belly thingamabobber, and let's get that thing done. It doesn't cost you anything, but it sure helps me. All right. So we'll see you guys next time.